Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out.
And scream.
Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Hello, here we are. Welcome. Okay, it's a bit of a different setup today because I am wearing makeup. And I know that for a audio podcast, you're like, I don't care, I'm driving, I can't see you. Well, that's mistake number uno. Oh my God, is that why the card game is called Uno? Shut up. Oh, that's good. I'm wearing a winter sweater for my Americans. I had to do an audition this week in an American accent. And when I tell you, I almost threw myself out of a moving vehicle after listening back. I was like, this is so cringe. It's so embarrassing. And then I was like embarrassed at my own accent. And then I'm watching myself like, oh my God, this is, and because it is so cringe when you watch an American movie with Australians and the accent is so bad, like hilarious. So anyway, so I'm wearing a winter sweater because, you know, when you go to dress your body and you're like, oh my God, I hate myself and this is disgusting. That's how I felt today, even though it's summer. So I also have the aircon on. So I'm trying to talk a little more directionally into my microphone so that hopefully you don't catch the aircon, which is above my head. I also am wearing makeup, which is crazy because I don't even wear makeup to go into the real world to see real people. And now I'm wearing makeup to record what is an audio platform podcast. What? I've got double lights because I felt like when I watched back some of the other footage, it was so like yuck, like it was so grey. I felt like gruel, like, you know, in Oliver Twist, and he said, please, sir, is that? I think they have gruel in Oliver Twist, but also for some reason I'm thinking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But maybe because his grandparents just seem grey. I know that movie was not in black and white, but when I think about the grandparents, I think of them as grey. So it's just so humbling to watch footage of yourself back and be like, oh, I look so much hotter to myself in a mirror than in any recorded footage of me. And isn't that heartbreaking? Yeah, that is heartbreaking. So we're just going to jump in. Hello, Jess Fuchs, blah, 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 blah. Nothing interesting. You're back with me, I'm back with you. So this week I've just been like kind of rewatching a lot of the same content. So like the same movie I've watched twice, the same TV show, not, you know, just over and over as if it's like some sort of like rocking back and forth, soothing myself from something. Nothing's happened this week, but I just can't face the idea of finding something new to watch. And I don't know what the point of this was. I had such a point to make about this, about watching the same thing. My brain, oh my God, I was going to say my brain is rotting. 100% it is. But I also saw online this week when I was mindlessly scrolling. Why is that such a hard? Say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. Mindlessly scrolling. It's so many syllables. When I was mindlessly scrolling, I saw this video that was like, if you are someone who doesn't find people attractive anymore, it's probably a trauma response to your hyper-independence syndrome. I'm like, what's happened? Too many people can afford therapy now, and it is too mainstream. So now everyone uses these like sticky words and it sticks to me. I'm scrolling and I'm buying what you're selling, and that's the problem. And then I was like, oh my God, I do find people attractive. However, I do believe that I suffer from hyper independence, but I also don't think any of that is real. I do believe that's real, actually, if I'm being honest with you. ASMR. We're just going to jump in to what's been pissing me off. All right, I know this is going to be a really controversial opinion. I don't care about music. I like music. I listen to music. I play what's pop hits. When I go to the gym, I say pop hit mix for girls, upbeat when I'm driving, road trip songs when I'm in the mood, karaoke songs we all know. These are just some things that I search in Spotify. But as a person, I am not a music person at all. And I know that is a really like uncool thing to say, you know, like I have no memory of records, albums, songs that are distinct to me as a person. Like I have some friends who gag for music, who love music, who are like, oh my God, when this album came out, it changed my mind. I'm like, what are you talking about? When this album came out, I don't judge my life in any capacity based on when a song or an album erupted onto the scene. Related to that, I have one main memory about music, and I do like there are a couple songs that are tied to like core memories, obviously, but there are no like I'm not like, oh my God. And I do think I'll say this, my taste in music is incredibly basic. I'm like Adele. Like what's incredible to me about music is Adele releases this album about her divorce and about like, you know, struggling to like know if she's being a good parent and such. And I'm 30 sitting here going, God, divorce is hard. Never been married. Never been married, but and that is the power of music. I'm not saying music isn't powerful. I'm not saying music isn't important. I'm simply saying I myself have absolutely no emotional attachment to music as a thing in the way that other people are like obsessed with. They're like, oh my God. I have a friend who flew from New York to Chicago to see Charlie XCX. Please. The only reason I would fly across country is if you told me that was like the best cookie of your life, which I guess, you know, different strokes. But my main point about the music situation is I've been thinking a lot about music recently because, especially this week, because I was, again, re-listening to the same music, re-watching the same thing, and I was like, what is this about? What happened to you that you can't face new stuff? But more specifically, I've been thinking a lot about music, and there is one song that comes to mind. Okay, this is so embarrassing, and this isn't really an anger point. I don't know why I'm saying this. I was just thinking about this week a lot. I think the anger point where the emotion is erupting from is the fact that I know saying that music is not like something I care about is uncool. I know people like wank have a real issue with that because like it's like, you know, people whose whole personality is like, I like love underground bands. It's like, oh, I don't want to see a guy playing a recorder like and humming like in a rock venue and your drink gets spiked. Like, I don't really want to go to that. You know, I don't want to go to a festival and like sleep in a tent. Once I went with two friends to a Elton John concert. We did not know that you camp. We drove to the place. It was in like Hunter Valley wine country or some shit like that. So we didn't realize that you're supposed to camp overnight. So we just slept in the boot of someone's car. We put the seats down and we just slept in the car. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, it was not fun. Because the person who was supposed to supply the food is vegan, and she said that she brought cake. So me and my friend Gabriel were so excited, and turns out they were rice cakes. And I was like, this is why everyone hates vegans. I'm not friends with her anymore, mostly because she was vegan. So I've been thinking a lot about music this week, and one of the core memories that I have attached to a song is, this is so embarrassing. Okay, so when I was 17, my sister went on a trip to New York during, I think it was between one of her semesters at university. It was like the end of the year. It was the end of the year. And she really didn't want to go. And instead of cancelling for some reason, I don't even know why, I don't remember. Okay, so she was supposed to go to New York with a friend, and then she really didn't want to go. So because I am my sister's like support dog, I got to go, which is like the most privileged solution to a privileged problem. Hilarious. We're not going to unpack it. There's no time. Just pretend that this is okay. And also I was either I was going from year 11 to year 12 and like whatever. So my parents let me go, which I'm like 17 going to New York on my own. And I'm flying. This is the memory, right? And I do not have the diary that I'm about to reference. I would give anything to have this diary. I'm flying from California to New York on my own. I'm in the back of the plane and I remember this, but I could be misremembering. I'm in the back of the plane, like maybe on the last row or maybe row in. I just remember being on the left-hand side and the window shade is up. And now I cannot tell you if this is fabricated memory or a real memory, because I can convince myself of anything. Like if I start telling myself that today I'm wearing green, like at some point I'll remember this as green, whatever. And so I'm looking out the window. This is the memory. I look out the window. Beneath us is the Grand Canyon, and Akon, Freedom by Akon, is blasting through my headphones. Freedom. Wait, no, I can't even remember the tune now. It's like, and I remember crying, listening to this song on repeat because I was like, life is good. I was crying because I don't even know that I can publish this because of the audio. Okay, wait. I don't know how to... Okay. I think... Everything I has... Okay, I'm going to maybe read the lyrics. Okay, hold on. I got to do this in a way that you guys can... Because I don't think I can actually include this audio. I think it'll get flagged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the lyrics and tell you in my mind on this plane over the Grand Canyon beneath me on my own economy seat, chubby 17-year-old girl with polycystic ovarian syndrome who's just gained a bunch of weight, chunky little thing, headed to New York to meet my sister who's in the middle of a mental breakdown because she doesn't want to be on this trip. And I am free. And I feel free. And this song speaks to me in a way that is so deep. It is so and I remember crying, like happy crying, just feeling like, and I'm in my journal drawing the Grand Canyon. I can't draw at all. So I'm squiggling the Grand Canyon as I'm listening to everything I have, everything I own, all my mistakes, man, you already know. I want to be free. I want to be free. Okay? From Senegal, West Africa to St. Louis, Missouri. Never been to either of those places. Thanks to Catherine Dunham for giving my pops his glory. I'm going to say I don't even want to unpack what that means because I'm worried I'm a white woman. He came down with his drum and a dream to change the world in a free, uplifting world, and that's all he ever want. Mum came a little after, gave birth to my brother. Then all of the pressure made him fight one another. My parents still together. See, the pain would never last. Did the best with what they had. He knew the world was out for grabs and he searched to find his freedom. Freedom, oh freedom. Everything I have, everything I own, all my mistakes, fam. Oh my God, maybe he made that up. All my mistakes, fam, you already know. I want to be free. I want to be free. So I searched to find once again, we sing freedom. I can't put into words how much I felt this song to my core. So to that song, I cry. 5 hours, cross country, iPod Nano. And I just really want to express, I am not a music person. So, when people like, have you heard the new band like Soggy Tissue? I'm like, no. Until it's on top American hits. I don't even know Australian bands. I don't know international. I know the song that they use for FIFA World Cup when it was Shakira. I know this song for some reason. I know a few people, but they've been in major rom-coms. Like, I don't know anyone underground. I would never. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm having an allergic reaction. Okay. Anyway, so I just want to say, I guess the point is, I'm not a music person. I will never pretend to be one. You know those people who kind of pretend like they know what the fuck's going on? I'll never do that. I have a strong enough backbone and confidence to know that I have literally no idea what's happening. I'm cool with that. I think that comes from the fact that when I was dyslexic as a kid and I had literally no idea how to read, I was like, I can't fake this, so I'm not going to pretend. And now I am just very comfortable being seen as stupid. I really have no problem if someone says I'm dumb. It doesn't water off a duck's back when it comes to me and my intelligence. And I know some people value themselves for their intelligence, and God bless you, because you guys end up being the people who like solve the problems because you feel like you have to prove your intelligence to the people around you in the world. Not me, doll. Not me. I got into the game of comedy for a reason. I'm happy to be seen as an idiot. Every day of the week, 24/7, I'm an idiot. I love it. Okay, so there's nothing really major there other than to say, hey, if you're someone who loves music, get off your fucking high horse and don't tell me, oh my God, really? You don't like music? Yeah, suck me off. There are things I like that you wouldn't understand or have time for or give a shit about. So you know what? We all have our things, but for some reason in society, we've created this arbitrary hierarchy of things that are good to like and you have to like it. If you don't like it, it's confusing. If I was a huge bowling fanatic and you hated bowling, I'm not going to be like, you don't know what a triple pinner is? You're a loser. Really? You don't know about bowling? Why is music more acceptable as a thing to be obsessed with than bowling or any other arbitrary hobby? Another thing I'd like to bring to the group this week is I have noticed how grey I am going. It's really bad. I don't know if I'm extra stressed. I haven't had the time to figure out, like, if you're graying in certain parts of your head, does it mean something? Like, I have some gray hairs just here on the top right. I have some in the middle, in my middle parting, like maybe halfway. And I'm like, am I using those parts of my brain more than others? Again, very comfortable being made to look like an idiot and not being made to. I am saying these things willingly, like an idiot. So I'm just going to Google this. Going grey in certain parts of head, on certain parts. Does this mean anything? Okay, so why do I only get damage or trauma to the scalp or the hair follicles or a vitamin deficiency? Shit. What do you do about this? Different location of grey hair meaning anything. The specific location of them on your head also relates to particular organs. I don't know if I want to read this. I'm scared. Okay. According to them, not only can grey hair be used as a signifier of health, but the specific location of them on your head can relate to particular organs. For example, poor kidney health is often associated with grey hair being scattered at the back of the head. Nope. This scattering is associated with kidney function. Okay, that's fine. So where else are grey hairs a reflection of organ health? Whitening hairs around the temples are said to indicate an unbalanced body chemistry, which specifically relates to the liver. Don't a lot of men go grey around their temples? Scientists have already linked smoking and excessive alcohol tendencies to the greying of hair, with the liver's main function being the breakdown of harmful toxins and substances that could be... Oh my God. Grey hairs at the front of your head have also been associated with gastrointestinal problems such as stomach acid reflux. Holy shit. Do I have stomach acid reflux? See, now, here's the thing. So I have like 3 at the front of my head on the right-hand side, maybe like 10 in the middle in the middle of my brain at the top. Now, I was making the scientific conclusion that perhaps I was thinking so hard. And so my brain was like, I'm getting old. But perhaps I have acid reflux somehow. I'm going to look more into this offline just in case I start crying. I think that's probably for the best. So I've started to go grey, and in the last, let's say, 6 months to a year, depending on how stressed I am, I've definitely noticed more or less grey hairs. However, this week I washed my hair, and I don't know how, but I was like, oh my God, most of my head is grey. Again, 15, 3. But I filmed myself talking to camera because in the moment I was so overcome by emotion. And it's been essentially a week since this recording. So I don't remember exactly what I said. I just remember feeling like stressed about it because I have been box dyeing my hair, but I've become so paranoid that the chemicals from the box dye are seeping into my brain because I am my mother's daughter and my mum is a apocalypse prepper, I would say. What's the other word for apocalypse? A doomsday prepper, despite the fact that she's first out the gate. So I have become so paranoid that all of the chemicals are seeping into my brain and giving me brain rot worse than I already have from just living in a modern society. So I stopped box dyeing, and I think this week was like the first big week that I realized all this growth. So this is me just talking to myself.
All right, it's 1 a.m. I can't sleep. And I'm just thinking about all the grey hairs that I have because it's getting like a lot. And I'm not okay with that. I think I have enough wrong with my body that I don't need to add on top of it, okay, going grey at 30. And I think about it a lot, about going grey. It's like the first thing I remember when I wake up, and it's the last thing I think about before I sleep. Because it's not enough grey that it's like, oh, silver fox. What's the female equivalent of a silver fox? Like it's not like enough that it's like grey, you know? And it's pissed me off because I don't know what it is. It's like patches. It's just like in patches. And I'm like, I know if I Google it, it'll be like, you have cancer, or like it's this product. And sometimes Googling things is just the worst thing that's happened to humanity. Having access to the internet has made us more psychologically sick, and that's not revolutionary. I think people usually think about that within social media, but I'm saying just the act of having Google has made us more sick, because now I'm too afraid to use box dyes because I'm like, oh my God, it's going to seep into my brain and give me dementia, which is probably true. I can't sleep. Oh, fuck you, grey hair.
Concerning that, I think that the box dyes are giving me dementia, and I literally couldn't remember that I said all those points in this video and then just repeated it to you now. So I am really worried about that because I had no recollection of what was said. Granted, it was 1 a.m. I do want to say that what 1 a.m. Jess said has made 6 p.m. Jess think about the idea that Googling has ruined us. We'll unpack the grey stuff in a second, but Googling has really ruined us as a society because Rory, one of our dogs, he is very old, and his biological brother, Chief, died maybe a year or so ago. And he's getting old. He's taken a turn for the worst. And I was like to my parents, he's so old and like decrepit and stuff now. I'm like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, he's happy. He's clearly old and something's not right because he's like lost a little bit of weight. And they're like, he's getting tests. Like he's going this week for tests. He's getting tests. We'll see what's wrong. But it doesn't really matter what's wrong. As long as he's happy, we're not going to do anything. This is the sort of blissful ignorance we are missing. This is the sort of relaxed attitude to life that we should be considering. This idea, doesn't really matter what's going on because they're not going to pay for him to have chemo. He's old. He's not going to have, and sure, you could argue as humans, if I was 45 and got sick and we catch it and we know what it is, you can live long, 100%. But in some capacity, it is beautiful that he you just wait for someone to tick over into the not happy, and then you go, euthanasia will kill you now. Savage, but beautiful. That's fucked. But in my mind, this point makes sense as something that proves that I do think we know too much now, and it makes us more miserable in some ways. So I agree with what Jess said in terms of as well. I do think a lot about my grey hair, and I want to say that I am someone who, we all want to be these like modern people who are like, I don't really care what I look like, blah, blah, blah. Like, as in, we know that we have value beyond what we look like, but do we? Because attractive people get treated better, so do we? And it is implicit. It is a human, weirdly human thing. And obviously a lot of the beauty standards are these like Eurocentric, like white, thin, blah, 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 wank, wank, wank. We don't need to unpack that because, like, also this is supposed to be fun. And I don't want to talk about this and, like, want to off myself, because as soon as I finish here, I, like, turn my head and I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, you have curly hair and you're not blonde and you're not thin. So, like, shut up. We're not going to unpack it. But the point is, I wish I could be okay with going grey. In some ways, I would be. If it was full, like, if it was like, what's that movie, X-Men, I think, where the woman's got like a grey streak and it's really like distinct and like sexy and it's like a thing. If I had grey hair that was like a thing, I would be into it. But no, my body is once again crumbling in a way that is mildly held together, but just enough of a fuck up that I think about it 24/7. And it's grey and it's grey and it's like, and it's not enough. It's not enough. And then there's a part of me that I'm like, oh my God, do I go to the salon and just go full fucking sexy, like platinum grey? But the maintenance of dyeing your hair is just simply too expensive and too much of an effort. So now I'm in this in between, which I'm trying to decide this week. Do I go and pay for someone to actually just dye it nicely using like good quality dye? And then I have to now fucking do that for the rest of my life as well. God, add it to the bloody list of things we have to just like keep doing till we die. Well, I guess I could just go grey. See, neither of my parents are grey. My grandfather went grey. I don't even know what the lineage, what the tree is like, the family tree, grey. Will I go grey if... How long does it take from when you notice a grey hair until they are grey? The internet is fucked. Why does my hair turn grey? It doesn't actually turn grey. Okay, don't need to read that. We've been jumping a lot today, and I just want to say so sorry for that. That is on me. I think now I'm too cold in this space. Okay, so that's kind of the grey situation. I think in a way I'm pissed at myself because I wish I would be okay with going grey, but I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm about to sneeze. I'm going to be really... This aircon is definitely turned up much too high. I wish I could be okay with going grey, but I'm going to be so transparent and honest with you. I'm not. If, with the asterisk, if it was full grey, woke up tomorrow all grey because I got some superpower and it's surging through my body, and that gave me a full platinum is it platinum? Shut up, Jess. Just get your fucking point out your mouth. If I woke up tomorrow and I was full grey and it was like slay, I would stick it out. But with this kind of piecemeal, one at a time, notice and count your greys, I'm not interested in this. Either I have to manifest mentally that I'm going to go full grey, or I have to just convince myself to turn back to colour. And once it goes grey, can it go back to colour again? I won't be Googling that because I've Googled more than enough today. Finally, the last point I would like to discuss, which is a real soft spot for me, before we get into something that someone submitted, an anger point for them, is I had to go buy something this week. I had to go get an outfit for an upcoming event, and I put this thing on, right? This like, it's like a kind of patterned dress, whatever. When I tell you I have never looked uglier, didn't fit, didn't look good. There was no redeemable qualities to this piece of fabric. And what do you think the salesperson did? Oh my God, that looks really good. That looks really good. What looks good? Because I know it's not me in the mirror, and I know it's not me in this stretched out fabric. Oh my God, no, it looks really good. Like, it looks really good. If you can't tell me why it looks good, if you're just repeating the same bullshit sentence, it looks really good, it doesn't look good. Why do salespeople be fake like that. I don't trust your opinion. If you were like, hey, that's not it, but why don't we try this thing? Then I'm going to trust your opinion more. But if you're just feeding me some bullshit about looking good, we're going to have a bigger problem than that. And I have worked retail. If I had nothing nice to say, and if they liked it, I'd be like, oh, that's great, cool, I'm glad you love it. You do not need to bullshit your way into a sale. It is not nice. I don't know why there is this culture of fakeness in retail when, especially if you're not even making commission. Maybe it's fun for you to convince me that this sausage casing looks good, but I can't see how. I'm just going to return it 2 days later when someone who's honest in my life says, what the fuck are you wearing? That really got to me. That I was staring in the mirror, looking at something, and I know it looks bad. I've heard a couple rips and tears as I shoved it over my body. And then for you to come up to me like, that looks good. Shut the fuck up. Are you paid to lie? Because that's what it feels like. You're getting paid to lie. That's just a small gripe for this week that really got to me. Because it's like, we both have eyes, no? We can both see, yes? We both have seen. We both saw the outfit I walked in. Incredible. Obviously, always. But now we're looking at me in the mirror, looking disgusting. So why are you standing here lying to my face? Unnecessary. Really unnecessary. I'm going to go right into an audience submission because I'm losing steam because I think I'm a mixture of too hot in this jumper in this summer knit. Those are 2 words that don't go. All right. The submission is quite simple. I put out a call. I said, hey, tell me what pisses you off. And this is what I got. People that walk slowly in the middle of the footpath or don't watch where they're going. If you are on your phone, walking in the center of a footpath, looking down, I have to reply to this urgently. I no longer move for those people. I line up, square up, shoulder to shoulder with this bitch, and I walk full steam ahead, powerfully, charging forward, and I will not falter. To the point where and this always happens, it always happens that they reach you and they can obviously, from head down, you get that shadow of the person approaching and they kind of scuffle back and look up. And I won't move. I stand there. And so then you kind of have to do that like, oh God, like drunken stumble, and they stumble around you and keep going. And I know I've been that person too. I'm trying better to not be that person on my phone when I'm walking on a footpath because it is so rude. But at the very least, if you are texting and walking, I don't think you should be getting tickets for texting and driving. You're in a vehicle that keeps you safe, but you should be fined heavily for texting and walking. I think that is absolutely unacceptable. And if you are texting and it is that urgent, pull over, indicate with your body language, indicate, go stand on the left side of the footpath and just reply to your texts. Or learn how to text without seeing your screen. I can text like this. And watch, I'll prove it to you right now. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? I can text without looking is what I'm doing. Okay, while I'm looking at the camera and I'm going to text something. Okay, I just got to get my fingers on like a couple keys. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to start with the first letter. It is getting cold in this room. When will this podcast end? And I'm going to hold this up and we're going to zoom into that. And it's perfect. And I am the only person that should be able to walk and text. If you have to text, if you are my dad and you have to text with one finger, if you are someone who is giggling because you've got a crush, get the fuck off my road. I don't have a crush, so you don't get to have a crush. That's how this goes. Oh, I was lamenting with a friend the other day about how having a crush is just so necessary. Without a crush, what's the point of living? That's the truth. Having a crush is just so much fun. And I kind of have a crush at the moment, but not really. But I think I'm convincing myself I have a crush just so that I feel something. So that's a complicated thing that we're not going to unpack. Now, I think this episode has been shorter than usual. I'm not sure why. I can't tell you. I didn't really hit a good rhythm. We had a couple moments where we were flying together, for sure. We had a couple moments, especially with that Akon stuff. I'm going to blast an hour, I clean my room and just cry while I think about all of the things that I've discussed today. Short episode today. So sorry about that. All right, thanks for listening. If there's anything you want to submit, please do. I have actually quite a few submissions. It's been so fun because maybe we'll do like a nice ending, which is like, so this is the 5th episode now, but the first 4 people have like been messaging me and DMing me and stuff when they've listened, and will send me things that piss them off or just things that I've said that piss me off, and they're like, oh my god, same girl. And I'm like, oh, it's just so nice, because not all of these things are like high tension points, but they're just the small things that in day to day they really slow you down or piss you off. And I love it, and I want you to keep sending me things that piss you off, because I'm going to keep reading them because they're really fun. Thanks for listening. Look, the first episode got some great listens and views, but as all things, once they've started and people are like, okay, cool, I supported the first episode, like wank, whatever. But if you like this, send it to a friend or tell someone about it, or I'd say you can message me and tell me you like it, but like whatever, you can. I don't really need the individual praise. I would rather the collective praise of you telling people so they listen and enjoy it, and then I can keep making it because I can afford to like pay for an editor, and because I do want to start a Patreon next year, and I also want to do a live event so then people can come, whoever's in Sydney, and they can write in the things that piss them off and we can talk about it. I feel like that would be so fucking fun. So that is the like long-term goal, is to be able to have enough of a like people who listen who would come to a live event and contribute some of their anger IRL, and then also be able to have like a Patreon where I can like talk more, and you pay for me to talk for you. So it's kind of like OnlyFans, but for comedians. So because no one wants to watch comedians have sex, everyone's gross and ugly in comedy, and that's why they do comedy, because they couldn't have sex as a child, teenager, young adult. Let's settle on, it's probably best for me to say these teenagers couldn't have sex as young adults as opposed to child. But thank you. Send this around, like, subscribe. I know you all have YouTube channels, so fuck you, or like you Gmail accounts. So subscribe or whatever. I don't even think you have to have a Gmail. Just please subscribe to my YouTube. Okay, please. Okay, bye. Love ya.